Hey, Paul from Akewatu here. Today I'm going to talk to you about the FRK from Slater Designs Firewire. This is a shape from Dan Mann at Firewire. Dan Mann might be the most famous shaper in the world that you've never heard of. Dan Mann's been making boards for Firewire for a while. He's the guy behind the baked potato boards. There's a little bit of a story behind this one as well. Dan Mann made a bunch of these for Kelly and gave them to him. Kelly just kind of left them laying around in his garage for a couple of years. Didn't end up surfing them. Then a friend of his surfed the board, thought it was amazing. So Kelly, you gotta ride this, dude. Kelly rode it once, took it to JBay, surfed it in the CT, surfed it in the Surf Ranch CT, surfed it all over the world, loved it. Let's look at the outline on this. And as you can see from there, it's a pretty sleek outline. It's kind of narrow overall. By today's kind of standards, this is gonna seem like quite a narrow board for its length, but everything's pretty sleek. See that pulled in tail going into that pin. I mean, Kelly's pretty specific about his tail shape. We're going to come into that in a bit. Another Kelly specification is that wide point just a little bit further forward. Again, we're talking pretty slight, but Dan Mann, the shaper, has just nudged that wide point a little bit forward as a specification for Slater. But the overall shape that we're looking at is something that's pretty sleek overall. You can kind of just tell from looking at it, this is a board designed to go in waves with a little bit of juice behind them. Pretty pinched on those rails, it's pretty sleek. There's not a load of foam on the rail there. Actually, Kelly himself says about this board, you kind of want to pick one that kind of feels too small. Dan Mann reckons there's quite a lot of hidden foam in this one. I'm saying it's pretty well hidden, but the whole thing is a sleek overall design, and once you get it up and going, this thing absolutely flies in quality waves. But really not that much volume at all on the rails, so pretty precision, and this thing is just going to give you so much responsiveness in a steep wave. This one's 5'11" by 18 3/4, and that's coming in at 29.1 litres. So even from those dimensions there, you see it's kind of on that narrow end, almost a little bit like previous boards. I don't want to say retro, but something earlier in the 21st century anyway. Pretty narrow outline for the length. This is one of those boards that kind of goes where your mind surf it. This is super sensitive, super responsive. Dan Mann, the shaper, spent quite a lot of energy just kind of figuring out how to scale up. Kelly rides this in a 5'9", and he's just kind of scaling up, particularly with the rocker and the fin placements, other things like that, how to get that into a board a little bit longer for the surfers that ride a bit longer than Kelly. Not a board for slop. It wants a bit of a steep wave to get going. I think it's also going to suit a surfer that's pretty light on their feet, someone that kind of keeps that board moving. This is going to really go for them, and there's a bunch of features underneath as well that facilitate towards making this thing absolutely fly. Let's have a look and see what's going on the bottom contours. We're looking at single to double through here. Everything's pretty subtle. Everything's pretty subtle through here. Got that single concave here that transitions into that double. It goes right back through the fins. Kind of feel it getting a little more pronounced here. Just adding that lift and going all the way through, back through the tail. It's actually pretty subtle through the fins there. And that tail shape, you can see there, that rounded pin. Kelly's pretty specific about how he likes his tail. He likes this kind of ellipse feeling through there. So that's another Kelly stipulation. And it's turned out with this beautiful sleek outline. All these curves just kind of complement each other throughout this board. The overall result is relatively kind of minimalist, just in terms of the amount of foams there. But once this thing gets up and going, absolutely flies. It's LFT, that's the linear flex technology. We're specifically referring to this high density foam composite running through the middle of the board. That's replaced the traditional wood stringer. That's really just controlling that flex right through from the nose back to the tail, just maintaining that performance throughout. The carbon strips through most of the board as well, just stiffening things up through the middle. Obviously, we're talking EPS foam. That's super light, gives the board a little extra pop. You've got that entropy bio-resin as well. The whole thing really is light overall. And this thing, when you get in the water, when you get up and surfing, just feels really, really alive. Anyone who's surfed one of these Firewires with this kind of construction will be kind of familiar with that feel now, and just gives you that little extra something. And the whole thing comes together as a beautiful package for surfing in kind of good quality waves. This has been the FRK model from Slater Designs and Firewire, a wicked high performance board. One when the waves are really giving you a little bit of juice, this thing will go absolutely mad for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Akewatu YouTube channel. I'm Paul, reminding you to enjoy yourselves. It's later than you think.